I think they're a playoff team. I do think it's going to take time. So the points they could get early in the year might not be there. So if they're third or fourth in the Metro, they might be a wild card. I don't know.
Mhm.
But again, you get all excited for opening night.
And that's what happens.
Yeah. It's not week one in football, right?
Right.
There's a lot more hockey to be played.
Welcome back, Ranger fans. We've got another episode of Up in the Blue Seats, your favorite Rangers podcast from the New York Post. I'm your host, Mollie Walker, and I'm joined by just Rangers favorite Brian Boyle today. Our Hall of Famer Larry Brooks is starting the season on IR, so everybody sent him well wishes for a speedy recovery because after opening night, it appears we are definitely going to need him.
Yeah.
Brian, how was your return to the blue carpet last night? I saw a pretty funny video of you losing your way to get to where you needed to be on
Oh,
twitter.com.
oh, geez. Yeah. Well, I'm losing a lot of things lately. Hotel room key, other things, car keys. Anyways, yeah, I wasn't exactly sure where to go. And, the Rangers faithful were all like lined up on 31st Street. So I just kind
Right.
of tossed myself in the mix. And then someone had to come get me, being like, no, you have to come over here. But I was essentially doing the same thing. I was just saying hi to the people that were all excited to be at opening game, all the
Yeah.
fans. So
And there's no hiding for you at 6'6" through that
no,
crowd. So I'm sure you were
yeah,
swarmed.
wearing the burgundy suit too. I sort of stuck out. I probably should have thought that one through, but no, that was really cool. That was a lot of fun. Dave Maloney, obviously, everybody knows Dave. Everybody loves Dave. He did a great job emceeing it. There was a DJ there just throwing out banger
Mm,
tunes. A lot of hype, a
nice.
lot of excitement. That was the most exciting thing, though, from everything.
Unfortunately, it
Yeah.
does appear that it was. The Rangers opened up the Mike Sullivan era with a 3-0 dud at home to
Yeah.
his former team of 10 years, the Penguins. It was a one-goal game for most of the night, but two empty netters from Pittsburgh gave us that final score. I feel like you could either have a lot to say about that first game or not much at all because of the contents of it. But all in all, not an encouraging start for the blue shirts. So let's pick it apart to an
Yeah.
absurd degree because that's what we do here. Brian, what stood out to you last night?
Let's go with the good. And
Sure.
the good is okay for myself or probably all Rangers fans. The good is Noah Laba.
Hmm.
That's a great sign. I love that, of all of when training camp opened, all of the names of can't wait to see this guy, and rightfully so. Some of these prospects are exciting. I wasn't hearing much about Noah Laba, and he really
Hmm.
showed a lot. He showed like he belonged, right? He skates and looks like he's NHL ready, and there will be some growing pains, but I was happy for him. The rookie lap thing is great. Everybody
Mm.
does it now. He's got to do it. I think it's like we should just stop doing it. He belongs, so like you're there. But whatever, that was great. And then, my biggest takeaway was Mika. Watching Mika,
Hmm.
just it looked like old Mika. He had 12 attempts on the net. He had 7 shots on the net.
Team
And
I.
yeah, he was flying. He was the only real, looked like he was a threat each time he was on the ice.
He was.
And for a game it was sort of a feel out game. Um, it just, he was just like, I'm here to try and help this team win the game. It was great. There were some, you look at devil's advocate here, you look at Miller, you look at Panarin, and I'm not worried about either of the guys. I'm not certainly not worried about JT Miller. He is, he missed some time. It's hard to get back into it. And then you're playing against a
Yeah.
Pittsburgh team with there's zero expectations on them, which I don't expect them to compete for the Metro. I don't expect them really to compete for a playoff spot. And maybe that's me being just dumb because they have Hall of Famers still playing on their team, and those guys have a lot of pride, and especially Sid, like he knows he plays at the same level every year. He's incredible. And
Right.
you look at a motivated. Geno Malkin last night and what he did for his line, and that was the difference. I mean, Brazeau gets two. I mean, one's an empty
Yep.
netter, but that goal is a Geno play. He's done that. He's done that for a decade. So that can happen. There wasn't a lot of. It was a low event game, sort of. Artur Shilov's looked pretty solid. I thought there were some times where Pittsburgh threatened and the Rangers got into some trouble. Some of the D I didn't love. I think Gavrikov will settle in,
Yeah.
but that is hopefully
It
his
was
worst game.
yeah, I was pretty surprised by that. I think that he looked a lot, I mean, especially coming from the preseason where he looked so steady and so
Yeah.
poised at the blue line every time he got out there. Didn't really see any of that last night.
No, it was odd. It was different, and it'll take time. And this is what I mean. Before puck drop, I had mentioned on the blue carpet, like there's going to be good games and there's going to be not so good games, and give it to mid-November before they can sort of find their stride
Hmm.
consistently. I don't think they're going to be this every game until mid-November, but it's going to take time. And Sully's very detail oriented, so sometimes that takes even a little bit longer to find exactly what you
Right.
want and the chemistry. I'm not worried about the Rangers at all. I think they're a playoff team. I do think it's going to take time. So the points they could get early in the year might not be there. So if they're third or fourth in the Metro, they might be a wild card. I don't know.
Hmm.
But again, you get all excited for opening night.
And that's what happened.
Yeah. It's not week one in football, right? There's a lot more,
Right.
there's a lot more hockey to be played, but that was unfortunate.
Yeah. I guess I'll stick with the positives. I'll add Connor Sheary
Yeah.
to that group of players that was very standing out. I think that he was active all night on the forecheck. He was all over the ice. And that was really encouraging to see. And I also think the the fourth line probably had the most juice out of any of the lines as a collective, I felt. And I've said from the beginning that I love that Edstrom Carrick Rempe line. I think
Yeah.
that they could be a real X factor for the Rangers in more ways than one. And I feel like they always hit the ice with juice no matter what. They bring the same level every time those three are out there on the ice together. So I will throw them in the hat of positives as well. I think for me, the most concerning thing that gave me some PTSD and probably a lot of Ranger fans last night as well was the goal 32 seconds left in the first period.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a habit that lingered for the Rangers for most of last season that was unacceptable, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at just in sports in general, the final moments of a period or a quarter or whatever it is, like the fact that the Rangers so many times last season were caught sitting back, were caught, with zero urgency and these costly goals at the tail ends of periods were killer for them last year. So to see that happen in the first period, it was killer again. And you think, oh, here we go again. But I included in my column last night a quote that Vincent Trocheck said on the very first day. And that was that sort of mentality, the here we go again, is not an option for this Rangers
Right.
team. They cannot let this spiral, let these habits linger. Corrections need to be made and it needs to be done away with early because if that's the sort of habit that just it'll kill you every single
Yeah.
time.
You know what? It shouldn't. In the first period in a 0-0 game, it's a kick in the pants. So you gotta go to the room and then you just scored. It was like, but you have that time in the room to just say, all right, like that happened. Let's not let that happen again and go out in 40 minutes to sort of
Right.
rectify it. And, there were a few that were, I think, proactive in trying to get some juice. Like, as you said, that fourth line, I agree. 10 minutes for him, for Carrick and Rempe anyway. It was probably 8.5 for Edstrom, but
Hmm.
That's going to help a lot too. If they can get that steady 8 to 10 minutes, you're going to see some. I think you're going to see more out of that line. But you
Yeah.
have a whole intermission. They should be fine. It's not. It's there's plenty of veterans on the team. It's not a young group.
No.
So it shouldn't bother them. You shouldn't be thinking about last year at all anymore. It's different. You're not even wearing the same jersey. You're wearing a different color jersey. So yeah, but it's just there's no easy games, no matter what you
No.
think Pittsburgh might be. You look at I mean, there was a game right before them, Florida and Chicago. And Florida's out shooting Chicago 18-5. The game was 2-2. And it's wild because if you looked at Florida's goals, they were just the ugliest goals. It was like a dump in and a pass to the point, sort of a shot that actually got blocked, but it went right to AJ Greer and he scored. And then another one was Trocheck, or not Trocheck, geez. Evan Rodriguez dumps it in.
Mm.
And then like the winger just basically golfs it to the middle and it hits the guy in the pants and it goes in. And it's like that's
Yep.
how the Florida Panthers play. They just go straight.
That's
And
hockey.
and they don't ever
Florida
stop.
Panthers hockey.
So a little more of that too could help, a little bit more. And I think Mike Sullivan really wants that. I spoke with him before a preseason game, and he said, "We're trying to be more direct." And I don't know how many times I've said on this podcast, like I would love to see them just get out of the zone, get through the neutral zone, and go in, and then let their talent take over, be
Yeah.
more direct. So he's trying to get them to do that, and that doesn't happen in one training camp.
Yeah. The neutral zone turnovers too. And that was something that plagued the Rangers last season too, is
Killer.
clean zone entries were just, you never found them. They could never produce them.
I'm not even concerned with clean entries. I think that's one of the most overrated things because
Fair.
again, all Rangers fans can listen here. The top,
Listen up.
two of the
Ears
top
up.
3 or 4 teams in the league at dump in rate were Florida and Carolina. And where are they every single year?
Right.
So clean, fine. If you have it clean, go
But
ahead.
I'm
Have
talking
fun.
about the way that
Just
the
getting
Rangers
in.
play, though. Exactly. The way that the Rangers play, they do better when they cleanly enter the zone, I feel. They're not good at the dump and chase like the Carolinas and
They
the
have to they
Floridas.
have to get good at it. It's not hard. If I could have done it, these guys are better. So
No, it was, yeah, no, the neutral zone turnovers were very much so there again
yeah.
last night. So, yeah, it wasn't, it's not what you want,
No.
not what you want on game one of 82, but it is game one of 82. That was kind of the vibe that I got from the guys that I spoke in the locker room with. I talked to Adam Fox, it's one game. You don't want to overreact, especially after the way that last season went. You gotta be a goldfish, as they say in Ted Lasso. Forget
Yeah.
it. On to the next game. But I mean, how important is it for this team to have a strong team mentality moving forward?
Well, it's any team. You have to so like the good teams that I was on, and even the Ranger years, it didn't it didn't really matter what had happened during the game. Like you'll have games where you don't have your best, or you'll have games where 2 goals go in, like we saw in the Florida Chicago game, or you have whatever. It's just like, all right, next shift, we're gonna figure out a way to get something. And it was always just kind of understood. It's just there has to be a belief. Well,
Right.
Ted Lasso, you put the sign up above the coach's office if you want, slap it. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like it's there. You can't listen to any noise. You have to know, and everyone has to believe in it. And that's sort of I think why they do the things. I know you were going to get to it, but like right before the season, they go to Rhode Island. Like
Right.
it's just building a trust amongst yourselves. Like we were ruthless to each other in the locker room. No one had a free pass. No one had a free pass in the room. And if you like, it was to the point where if you didn't get chirped, like a week went by and no one chirped you, I'm like, do these guys even like me? Like, how come I'm not getting ripped on a little bit here? I want to be a part
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, I want in.
You gotta really be a close group, and all that kind of stems from that.
Yeah, so we could turn to that. I mean, the team went on a bonding trip in Rhode Island this past weekend after their preseason finale in Boston. I spoke to a bunch of them. They went golfing, they went to the shooting range, had team dinners, and they did a team building activity one night as well. They brought this back from the Gerard Gallant era, which I thought was interesting. They didn't do it under Peter Laviolette. I think they did it 2 seasons, 1 or 2 seasons under Gerard Gallant. And Sullivan said it was a decision that they made with Chris Jury and the leadership group that this was a good season to bring it back because of having a brand new coaching staff, bunch of new faces in the locker room. And it just felt like a good opportunity for everybody, the semblance of the team, the way that Mike Sullivan described it,
Yeah.
could get together and get to know each other on a different level. Did you ever do anything like that in your career? And what sort of benefits does the team get from that? Especially, it's basically like starting the season almost a little bit earlier, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's important, and it doesn't have to happen every year. In New Jersey, so the two training camps I had in Jersey, the first
Yeah.
one we started out at home or in North America. I don't actually know where we started out, but the second year we went to Europe. But so the first year we went up to we went to West Point. And I was sick, so I didn't get to skate at West Point, but I got to go. They weren't even sure if I was
Mm.
going to be able to go because so then I'm like, well, what are we doing? Boot camp? What is this? But we carried a big rock. We had to pick a rock,
Oh, I've
and
heard
there
about
was
this. They do this at West Point. It's
yeah,
like a thing.
we had to carry it up a hill, or
Yeah.
I don't know if we can call it a mountain, but it was like a hill.
Yeah,
And
sure.
we had groups of 4 or 5 guys, and it was basically a competition. But we stayed things together, and then we got together one of the evenings and just said a little something about who we were away from the rink.
Mm.
And it was really interesting because we had some younger guys. I was a signing in the off season. I wasn't really around in camp to see the guys, so it was huge for me. I was a veteran guy at that point, but I still was like, these guys have to answer all these questions about me, and none of them even know me because I'm sick. I'm out. Like I felt terrible, and you kind of get vulnerable a little bit. I'm sounding really mushy here, but it's important
No, we love it.
to know that like you can do that. You can say like, this is what was hard in my life. This is what got me through. These are some tragedies. These are the great
Hmm.
accomplishments I had, and um, yeah, it was so cool. Our coaches did it too,
Yeah.
and we're like, all right, now we know everything, not everything, but we know a lot about each other. And then we got up to the top of the hill and we had like this chat. And the big message was like, I got to talk and I said, like, we can do good things. We can surprise some teams here just watching you guys in training camp. I think we can surprise some teams. I think we're a playoff team, but we have to understand if we're hard on each other, it's for the right reasons. So if you get called out, you have to accept it and understand that the guy that's calling you out in the room is doing it because he knows you can do better. Just like brothers, brothers fight all the time. And if we're not brothers, we're
Right.
not going to win. And I remember a time in Carolina, it was probably halfway through the year. It was a 6-on-5. We had the goalie pulled. I had a puck behind the net and I kind of threw it to no one. And we get back to the bench. Carolina scores on an empty net, and Taylor Hall rips into me on the bench. Taylor Hall is like, he won the MVP that year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of yell back at him, but I'm like, you're right. I know. And we're in the dressing room after the game, and he comes up to me like distraught. He's like, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did that. And I'm like,
Aw.
you had to do that. And I'm happy it was me that you did it to because now green light, like you could do it to anyone. And if a kid's having a bad month, like maybe don't scream at him on the bench, but there's certain times
Right. Maybe. Of
we all understood that. And
course.
it
There's a
really,
line.
but it took us to another spot, and everybody was like, it just brings more juice, as we say. And I think they're huge. It surprises me Lavi didn't do it because he did things like that in Nashville, like
Mm,
every other week. It felt like he brought all like the families, the wives to this restaurant
right.
right before playoffs. Did
Yeah,
all
that
these
was
different
his
things,
thing.
but it's very important for everybody to know exactly where everyone sort of stands. You don't have to be best friends with everybody, but if that guy's in trouble, I want you to have his back, like brothers do.
Mm.
Like I have 7 brothers, and I enjoy golfing with one or two more than I would the other couple, but
Of course.
the love is there for all of them. And that's what
Mhm.
it has to be sort of like in a team dynamic.
Yeah. No, I was kind of surprised when I heard that they were doing it because it kind of came together.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised, though, I would say, because I feel like this team needs all the help that they can get after what happened last season.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a good way to start the season, just a good first step forward. Obviously,
You need good vibes.
not engage. Yeah, you do. You really, and they had zero this
Well,
season.
right. They had none. I remember in Tampa
None.
too. We went to Naples in the middle
Hmm.
of training camp. I'm like, what is this? I'm coming from Torts and AV. I'm like, wait, what?
Right. You
We're
don't
going
know
to
what that
golf for
is.
3 days. Like
Yeah.
we skated in Orlando, and then we skated down in Naples, and now we're golfing. And it's like Coop is running around. What's everyone's handicap? He's trying to make teams for this big golf tournament. I'm like, this is the greatest, and it's just vibes. And we were vibing all the way through.
Yeah.
10U hockey needs to have vibes.
Yeah.
NHL definitely needs good vibes.
No, it's really important. It's like it's a factor that you can't quantify.
Right.
Like a team dynamic, it can make or break you. It can be your X factor. It can, I
100%.
always like to, yeah, I always like to say, a team either has it or they don't. What
Yeah.
it is, sometimes you can't really explain it, but sometimes you have to work to get it, to
Yeah.
get those vibes, to establish those relationships. And when you think about how many regulars, longtime players that this team lost over the last year, and how many new faces there are in the locker room, they needed something like this
Yeah.
to just get better acquainted. So I was happy that they did it. I think it will be good for them. You mentioned the Centennial jerseys. You like
Yeah.
them? I liked them. I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're awesome. Like
They're really nice.
no, they are so cool. And up close, they're cool. The numbers still have a
Yeah.
little fuzz to them. They're not that
Oh yeah.
shiny, like nylon type thing. They're old school.
I
They're
love
hot.
it.
I mean, it was 80 degrees and I was sweating, but yeah, I think they're really cool. I think that I believe they're doing another variation for the Winter Classic.
That would be fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun stuff. Let's forget about game one. Focus on all the other cool shiny things.
Focus on the vibes,
Yeah,
on the
vibes,
good
good
vibes
vibes
that we're
only.
bringing.
Hey, Igor looks sharp.
Yes, I mean that's like I was thinking about that last night actually. So many times last season, I never even mentioned Igor Shesterkin in any of my articles, regardless of him having a 32 save night
Yeah.
or something like that, standing on his head, because it didn't matter.
Right.
And that's one of the Rangers' biggest problems, having this unbelievable goalie back there and wasting his performances on a nightly basis last season. So at least he was in good form for game one.
Him and
Keep
Mika.
it
Let's
going.
focus on the good vibes. Mika was
Yes.
great. Yeah, you want him to connect and bury, but like the chances are there and the legs were there.
Yeah.
And Igor was great. And sometimes, us idiots in front of a great goalie can waste a performance here and there. It happened with Hank. You got Hank on,
He
he'd
can tell
probably
you all
mention.
about it.
Yeah, he can.
Of
Don't tell him I said that.
course not. All
Yeah.
right. That's a good place to end there. Thank you guys as always for watching. Give us a thumbs up below, comment, subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts were on game one of 82. What you thought of the Centennial jerseys. Are you going to buy them? Are you not? Let us know. And we'll chat again next week.